This video is about the realities of being the parent of a child with trisomy 13. It's a casual video where I'll talk to you about 3 of the key challenges facing many parents with trisomy children. They're challenges that I'm very familiar with as the parent of a 6-year-old boy with trisomy 13 who also has a tracheostomy and a PEG. And on top of that, I also have a healthy 4-year-old daughter. So if that sounds like it might be helpful to you, please stick around because in this video, we're going to talk about the realities of being a trisomy parent. The first topic I want to talk to you about in this video is 24-hour care. So I think one of the most defining elements of being a trisomy parent, at least for me and for my wife personally, is that our son needs 24-hour care. That means basically that we as a couple are no longer able to sleep at the same times. One of us needs to be giving him our attention at all times. For us, it wasn't that big of a struggle because we naturally have different sleeping schedules. I'm naturally a late sleeper. She's naturally an early one. So it was sort of okay. On top of that, we are self-employed, so we don't need to wake up at particular times. So we could kind of manage it, but to be honest, I can't imagine being a normal family with normal, work styles where one or both of us have full-time jobs. And on top of that, having to give a child 24-hour care. I think it would be the most difficult thing I had ever done ever, and probably will ever do for my whole life, if that was the case. Already it is a struggle for us, and it's one of the most difficult parts of our life and one of the most sort of restrictive parts of our life. But it's so much easier than it would be for, I think, normal people, with full-time jobs. Where they can't work from home, or it's not as free as ours is, not as flexible. But one of the biggest downsides is that my wife and I are no longer able to sleep at the same time, so we can't do what normal couples do, which is go to bed together. We can't go to bed at the same time. We can't really sleep in the same room. When I'm asleep, she needs to be up, looking out for him, listening out for him, taking care of him actively, and vice versa. And I just think it's something to be really, really, really aware of. And, being a full-time carer is something that most people don't ever have to do. And they may have to do at some point. They may have to do be a part-time carer for their elderly parent or something. But being a full-time carer for a child, and likely having to do that for 10 years, maybe 15 years, maybe 20 years, that is a big ask. And it's not the kind of thing where you can get someone else to just easily come and take care of them while you go out. You can't, say, get a babysitter. I can't get a babysitter for my son. It's just not really possible. If we were going to get a babysitter, it would be a nurse, like a trained nurse that we would have to either pay, or it would be covered by insurance maybe, and we'd have to schedule them to come at a particular day and time to take care of him, or we'd have to take him to a hospital for a day or two. And it's it's not the kind of thing you can just get a grandparent or something to come over casually and take care of them, because if there's an emergency and the kid needs medical attention, which isn't that unlikely, then you'll need to come home and everything. So yeah, it's a huge amount of responsibility, and it's something that kind of defines your life. You are now a 24-hour carer. And I doubt there are any trisomy parents where that's not the case. Maybe at some point the kid might get to the point where they're sort of healthy enough and they're okay to be taken care of by just a regular person without any medical training or anything. But for at least the first 10 years of their life, I would say that's unlikely. So if you're having a trisomy child, you're probably going to be a full-time carer for the foreseeable future. And that can be tough for a lot of people. It's tough for everyone. The next topic I want to talk about And this may not affect everyone, maybe it's unique to us, but the topic is difficulty going out as a family. So I have 2 children. One has trisomy 13, the other one is completely healthy. So it's my son and my daughter, respectively. So my son has trisomy 13. If I want to go out with my daughter, if just maybe me, my wife, and my daughter want to go out, it is incredibly easy. So we can just grab her bag, grab her things, go out. We can just go for a walk, and we can have a nice, relaxing time. You don't have to be carrying any big bags or any extra gear or huge special steel reinforced prams or anything like that. We can just go out and just have a casual, easygoing time. If we want to include my son in that, which we do if we all 4 of us want to go out together, the amount of additional work and sort of burden that's imposed on that outing is double, triple, quadruple. It's so much more restrictive, and it's so much more work, physical work, psychological work, having to be constantly, aware of him and his needs and taking care of him while we're out. And it's just a totally different experience. And that means that doesn't mean that we never do it, but it just means that most of the time we're gonna choose not to do it. And so we'll either choose to just stay in, which is probably our most common choice. However, sometimes we'll instead choose to go out separately. So I will go out with our daughter separately. My wife will stay home with our son, or my wife will go out with our daughter and I'll stay home with our son. And it's very rare that we all decide to go out together, just because it's such an additional struggle. And that's not ideal. That means that our family has this sort of feeling of being fractured, because there's just such a massive incentive to not go out together, to not do things together. There's this kind of force pushing us to not go out together. And that's tough. I find that personally tough, because I just feel like we miss out on so many things. We miss out on just that easy kind of lifestyle where we're kind of this cohesive family that can go out and do things together easily. And I know it's never easy with kids, with young children, to go out and, as a family, but yeah, I can imagine if our son was healthy, all of us going out, we would do it very regularly. It's something we would take trips together. We'd go camping together, and it's not really viable to go camping as a trisomy family. It's such an unbelievable amount of work. And so, that's not, I'm not blaming him or anything for it, but because we always make choices as adults. I can make a choice to go out with, my family as a unit of 4 or not. And, we're able to make that choice. But the reality is that there is a huge incentive to not do it just because of the additional work. And that's just part of the reality. And yeah, I think it's a pretty negative part. Okay, that's enough on that topic. The third topic I want to talk about is changing diapers and changing bedding. So a really common problem for trisomy kids is that they will have bowel problems and or stomach problems. And also they're not really able to be toilet trained. This is a very profound disability. Mental and physical disability, and so they're never going to be toilet trained, and they will be wearing diapers, nappies forever, for their whole lives. And I don't know the numbers on this, but I would say it's probably close to 100%, if not 100%. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you're a trisomy parent with an older trisomy kid and they're toilet trained, they can go to use toilets. Let me know, but I seriously doubt they exist. And the reality of our life is that we change our son's nappy 20 times a day sometimes. And he wears 2 nappies at once, plus a sheet, kind of like a pet sheet, wrapped around him, because it spills very, very, very often. Talking both number 1s and number 2s, spills all over his bed and all over his body pretty regularly. I mean, there have been periods where I've changed all of the bedding on his bed, all of the nappies and all of his clothes within an hour period 3 times, which means hand washing all the clothes, hand washing all the bedding, the towels and everything, throwing out all the bed sheets and the nappies and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so many times. And you are constantly revising and updating our system for how he is dressed and the different nappies that we're using, and we're trying to tweak it and improve it so that the spills happen less often. And at the moment we're in a phase where it doesn't spill very often, and we're really happy with that. But it's something, you have to constantly be aware of it. And that's one of the reasons he needs 24-hour care, is just the constant nappy changing. 15 to 20 times a day we need to change him often. And so that's a huge amount of work, and a lot of water and a lot of soap and, etc. And it's just something to be aware of. It can be a very, very unpleasant task to do, and I love him, and he's my son, so I'm happy to do it. And it's probably the best case, honestly, to be changing your child's dirty nappies for 10-20 years. Probably best case, I would say. I wouldn't want to change anyone else's. I'd rather change his rather than anyone else's. So I can't massively complain about that, but it's not a pleasant task, and there are things related to that which we have to do, such as enemas and things like that, pretty regularly, which are also incredibly unpleasant tasks. And I'm extremely thankful that I have a wife that is really, really good and has a really strong stomach for those kinds of things. And so she sort of takes the lead with some of them, where I'm a little bit more squeamish, and so it's more difficult for me. But that's just one of the realities. You will be changing nappies probably for your child's entire life, and that could be 5 years. It might only be a couple of years, but in our case, our son's 6 years old going on 7, and it looks like he's really healthy, so he's probably going to be around for quite a while, which is wonderful. But it means we're going to be changing nappies and bedding and mopping up spills on the floor, puddles of substances for probably the next 10 years, I would say. And that's just something we need to get used to, and we need to prepare for, and buy massive piles of nappies. We go to the store and buy 20 packs of nappies at once, and 5 packs of bed sheets, dog bed sheets, pet sheets, just to prepare, and we got to store them somewhere for him. And yeah, it's tough. So anyway, those are the 3 topics I wanted to talk to you about. They're just kind of the realities of being a parent of a trisomy child, the kind of realities of daily life. And I just really want people to be aware of that. I was never really aware of that when I became a trisomy parent. I didn't think about that kind of stuff. And in the beginning, when you have a baby, it's sort of normal. Okay, changing nappies, that's normal. Having to give them 24-hour care, that's normal. It's difficult to go out as a family. Going out with a baby's quite a challenge. That's fine. You have to go out with all these bags, and you have to prepare all this stuff, the bottles and blah blah blah, changes of clothes and nappies and everything. But that's sort of okay when they're a baby, because you understand that it's only going to last a year or two, until they get toilet trained. But when you have a trisomy child, that never ends. The restrictions on your life and the way that you have to prepare, and the extra burden and extra cost and everything never goes away. It maybe gets easier sometimes. It maybe you go through periods where it's easier. It may eventually all get a lot easier, but it also may get a lot harder, because now the baby that requires 24-hour care and everything no longer weighs, a kilogram. Now they weigh 15 kilograms, 10, 20 kilograms, 30 kilograms. And giving 24-hour care to a person that weighs 30 kilograms is very, very, very different to giving a 24-hour care to a baby that weighs 1 or 2 or 3 kilograms. So it's just a completely different experience, and yeah, it's life-changing, and it's life-defining. So yeah, just I guess the message of this video is to be prepared for that when you're making your decisions and you're preparing yourself mentally to be a trisomy parent. Prepare for that long-term reality. And it may be different for you. It might be slightly different. There might be things that are harder, some things that are easier. But this is my reality and my wife's reality as trisomy parents. And we're very happy. Don't get me wrong. We're extremely happy. We love our kids and we love our life. But it is a unique life. And it's a life that I never expected to lead. I never would have wanted to lead, and I wouldn't want anyone that I love to lead, because it's hard. It's really, really, there's nothing easy about it. Anyway, I'll leave it there. I hope this video was helpful to some people. I hope it was informative. If you are facing difficult decisions and a difficult situation with either a trisomy pregnancy or a trisomy child, please don't hesitate to send me a comment down in the comment section of any of my videos. I reply to as many of them as I can. I reply to basically all of them. If you ask me a question, I will answer it. So leave your comments down below, and yeah, hope it was helpful. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.
Go Lyly! Go Lyly!
Bike's so fun, Daddy.
Oh, good. Yeah, I love bike.
Me too.
Bike is my favorite.
Yeah, me too.
That's good. I'm glad you like it.
It's so wobbly, Daddy.
You wobbled a little bit, yeah. It's difficult to go straight. Isn't it difficult? Yeah, you gotta go straight.
Yeah.
Are your legs getting tired?
No.
No, you're okay. That's good. You're so strong. Timmy! Timmy, 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 Timmy. Timmy's so cozy. Okay, which way? Hey, look at your sister. Wow. So you're swinging yourself a little bit. You swing your legs a bit. Timmy, you gotta swing your legs. Whoa.
Yeah, Ethan, do it. You can.
Not your Daddy.
Like Chummy. Oh no, Chummy's tummy. Chummy 笑ってるけど。
Timmy, you gotta swing your legs. Woo! Woo! Whoa! Whoa! Lily's going slow. Woo! Whoa!
I'm having fun, Daddy.
That's good. I'm glad you're having fun. Chubby's cold.